Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life. That is the digital asset space. Good morning. Happy Monday to each and every one of you. If you want to know where the crypto market is going, you want to follow this crypto investment firm. And who it is going to shock you. It is going to shock you. It's not who you think it is. I will tell you that. Listen, we're going to go over the market because the market is doing what the market does. We're 12 and a half hours roughly away from the Flare Network token distribution event, which is really exciting. 11:59 UTC for those of us in the military. We know what time it is. So we'll get into that. That's going to be very interesting for sure. Looked into the revoke.cash for security purposes. Looked over that. It's really cool. It's a way for you, again, to be very cognizant of giving permission and or approval for decentralized or just apps or platforms in general to access, giving them approval to make transactions, if you will, for you. And so, you guys, you guys know I'm a big fan of Everrise and what they're doing. I like the simplicity of everything on everrise.com, but revoke.cash will cover a little bit of that as well, and let you guys decide which one you think is best. But ultimately, it is all about security for sure. And again, we're going to go over the market because the market is doing what the market does. Look, if you want to know if there's a future for Bitcoin in the digital asset space, just look to this company. I'm going to share with you guys in a second. You are going to want to know. But let's refresh the numbers of the market. Let's go over this market, see what's going on here. What's going on? I saw a lot of green this morning. Yeah, there it is. So according to CoinGecko, guys, make sure you get the CoinGecko app. Absolutely outstanding. Love what they are doing over at CoinGecko.com. The total cryptocurrency market cap is $894 billion. That's down from over $3 trillion. $3 trillion with a T for all the newcomers to the space. That's right. Bitcoin dominance is at 37.3%. Well, isn't that interesting? Finally below 38%, but we got a ways to go. We want an altcoin season. Bitcoin is trading at $17,383. Again, Ethereum is trading at $1,343. Again, shout out to the swing traders. I hope you guys are becoming part of the new 1%. And XRP is trading at 35 cents. Again, look at all the double figure greens on the 7-day. Lots of double figure greens on the 7-day. 15% for Matic token, 12% for Dogecoin, 29% for Cardano, 16% for the BNB token. Solana, I got out of Solana yesterday. I took my 50-something% and said, see ya. But look at it, it's almost 70% now. Holy moly. Can't call the top. Can't call it. We definitely exited and we definitely improved our positions on Songbird. What? Avalanche up 16.4%. Exited our position on Avalanche today as well. Cosmos, the Atom token's up 19.8% on the 7-day. Look at, just some, my poor Ethereum Classic is locked up on Celsius network. My poor Bitcoin Cash is locked up on Celsius network. My poor Dash that's locked up on Celsius freaking network. ApeCoin, 26% on the 7-day. There it is, guys. Lots of 7-day double figures. Cool, awesome. But again, we're not back to 3 trillion. Until we're back to 3 trillion, what does it really matter, right? Except for the swing traders, look at Sandbox tokens, 41% on the 7-day. Again, the swing traders, I absolutely love it. Freaking Decentraland, 39% on the 7-day. People just taking some profit, and the market is definitely manipulated. Hope you guys understand that. You just got to know what the big players are doing, the high frequency traders are doing. You got to know what the hedge funds are doing. Who's the puppet master and all of that. Because there are people out here who think Bitcoin is going to go away. Not according to this crypto investment firm, who's not only investing in Bitcoin and other digital assets, but in Bitcoin miners. Now, why would they be doing that? We're going to cover it. It's going to shock you who it is. Look, so that's the market, guys. Again, market is just kind of doing what the market does. Now, you guys, I told you guys I was going to look into revoke.cash because a guy recommended going over it. So I did look into revoke.cash. And again, it's a way for you to take those approvals that you may have done on MetaMask or other wallets where you gotta, you know how you have to first do the approval to spend and then you can do the transaction. Well, the MetaMask is set up, and most wallets are set up that approval is unlimited, so that you don't have to keep approving it for every single transaction. Well, that's awesome. But if you leave it there for forever and you got these things set up on platforms that you haven't used in a while, especially during a bear market, you're susceptible to things like hacks, right? If the platform is susceptible, so are you. If you got that thing on unlimited. Revoke.cash, what they do is they give you this little thing where you can kind of individually go in and set your parameters, okay, for not only who you want, whether you want it to be limited or unlimited. You can set kind of like the amounts and stuff like that, and that's cool. You know, it's cool for sure. Let me see. Let me do this from the beginning. Yeah, you see, you can pick the particular token. You can get really detailed, right? You can predict the token. You can list it in different orders. You can go limited versus unlimited. It gives you a lot of options. I'm not sure. Now, for some people, I think that's going to be great, right? You see that? Allowances, limited, unlimited, pick the particular token. Like, so it has all these different ways for you to kind of set your parameters for these approvals, and that's cool, right? For me, I just like the option of just revoking it and not going through the different, like you can go through each particular platform, right? I'm not a fan of that. So here's everrise.com, right? You see everrise.com, you can go to their ecosystem and they have ever revoke, as long as ever swap and ever bridge, NFT staking lab, ever migrate, ever own, ever launch. You know, I think these are kind of next level Web3 tools to use. One of the tools they have is ever revoke, okay? Which is the same thing that revoke.cash is doing. It's the exact same thing, right? Exact same thing, for sure there. So I just went over some of mine on one of the wallets that I have, and I revoked 5 or 6 of these. But look at the long list, right? Just from participating in DeFi, Benki, right? That is Avalanche, right? Good bridging, Avalanche, Joe, Trader Joe, right? Provided liquidity on Trader Joe. Remember the memories token from it was on Avalanche, and it was by the Mem guy and Andre. I think Andre Crone was in that as well. Penguin, Thor, right? So this is everything on the AVAX ecosystem that I was participating in. Wrap BTC, right? All these different things here, right? That have unlimited approval. I just like just being able to hit revoke and revoke it. I like that. Again, so I'm a big fan of what is it? I'm a big fan of everrise.com and its ecosystem. I really, really am. Big fan. Just hit revoke. Because remember, when you go to this particular platform, if you go to Benki and you want to add liquidity, or be a liquidity provider, be a market maker, if you will, you got to go there and you got to give it approval, right? right? So this is for that stuff that you may have done, but you haven't been there for a while. You don't want to leave it just open under this unlimited status. So again, everrise.com. I'm a big fan of it for sure. If you want something that where you have more flexibility, I think revoke.cash looks really, really good. Full disclosure, I have not used it yet. I've not tried yet. Okay. But again, this was recommended by the CEO and founder of Wallet Guard. So I just want to kind of point that out. So who is this crypto firm? That if you want to know where crypto is going, you just look at what this firm is doing. And that firm is BlackRock. That's right, it's BlackRock. A lot of people think that BlackRock is anti-Bitcoin digital assets. No. BlackRock is pro-money. That's what BlackRock is, pro-money. And pro-money to one set of people, their stakeholders, shareholders. That's it. It ain't the stakeholders. Stakeholders is a broad number of people. That's a guise. That's a disguise. That's the hoodwink. The real purpose is for the shareholders. That's right. It's BlackRock, guys. BlackRock gives, think about this for a second. BlackRock gives bankrupt Bitcoin miner Core Scientific a new, which means they've given them loans in the past, a new $17 million loan. Now, the Celsius network community is all too familiar with Core Scientific because Alex Mashinsky and Core Scientific were in partnership. They had a partnership, if you will. That's why Celsius Network has a mining business at all, because of the partnership and getting all these rigs and all this different stuff. Mining rigs, Bitcoin mining rigs from Core Scientific. Why would BlackRock be giving a bankrupt company a loan? Here's why. BlackRock, which already was Core's largest shareholder, why would BlackRock be investing in the mining? Previously held 37.9 million of the miners' secured convertible notes. Yeah, those convertible notes are first priority in Chapter 11. Like, investment giant BlackRock has committed $17 million to bankrupt Bitcoin miner Core Scientific as part of a new $75 million loan from the miners' secured convertible note holders, according to a U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filing that was filed on Tuesday. The date of this article is December 30th of 2022. BlackRock, which is Core Scientific's largest shareholding, according to FactSet data, already held 37.9 million in secured convertible notes as of Wednesday. The latest 17 million is part of the new 75 million convertible notes, which are part of Core's pre-arranged bankruptcy process, the filing says. In a pre-arranged bankruptcy, the debtor reaches some sort of agreement with his creditors before officially filing for bankruptcy. So BlackRock front ran the creditors, unsecured or otherwise, so they could get first dibs on some money. BlackRock has a habit of doing that. Core Scientific, the largest miner by computing power, filed for Chapter 11 on the 21st of December. The move comes as miners in general have been squeezed by high energy costs and low Bitcoin prices. Core noted that it expects support from some of its convertible note holders in the form of 2 debtor-in-possession facilities. We know about the debt. We know about the dips from Celsius, right? They try to do a dip. Celsius Network tried to do one. So the DIP facilities totaling up to 75 million. According to the restructuring plan, get this, the secured debt convertible note holders will get equity in Core Scientific. The current equity and unsecured holders will get warrants so that as the company grows, they will get more shares. says is Chief Mining Officer Russell Kahn. So the current equity and unsecured holders are second in line to these convertible note holders. Second in line. That's Celsius Network. That's the unsecured debtors at Celsius who have a stake, if you will, in Core Scientific, in mining business. Yep. Out of the 75 million, the lenders have already committed 57 million, including BlackRock's new loan to the miner. The DIP facility has a maturity date of June of 2023, with terms to extend to September, according to the new filing. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? BlackRock, Vanguard, and Fidelity are among the few trading giants that have invested in Bitcoin miners during the bull run, as shares of publicly traded miners offer a faster way to get exposure to the sector without having to buy Bitcoin directly in the face of uncertain regulations. Now, there's another thing here that I want you to get to after getting on the info. Let's see. BlackRock is just in the thick of a lot of things. A lot of people didn't know this. This is an interesting article from The Atlantic. Shout out to Mark Moss for sharing this. Biden has said as much as self. In January, he went to the New York offices of BlackRock, the major investment firm, for a meeting with Larry Fink, the CEO. This is prior to him officially announcing that he was going to run. You're running for the president of the United States. Why are you hooking up with an investment firm and having meetings? In January, he went to the New York office of BlackRock, the major investment firm, for a meeting with Larry Fink, the CEO. They talked about the state of the world and the country, about what's going on in the markets. Towards the end, Fink said to Biden, "I'm here to help," according to people told about the conversation. If you do your homework and really do some big time due diligence, you'll realize the last current administrations have had people from BlackRock in the administration, and then they go back to different positions at BlackRock, and then they come back to the next administration. That's that revolving door that we've heard about time and time again. Time and time again. BlackRock offered the Federal Reserve's bailout plan before there was a crisis. Before there was a crisis, BlackRock, an investment manager of $7 trillion in stocks and bonds and funds, I think it's up to 10 million, revealed plans by the Federal Reserve for bailout of financial institutions and corps in August of 2019. Months before the Beard Code appeared, and long before the public was aware of any financial crisis, and long before the public was aware of any financial crisis. BlackRock's blueprint implements going direct with bailouts to the commercial paper market, money market funds, corporate bonds, and a host of other markets. The Fed plans to leverage $450 billion from the Beard Code stimulus program and CARES Act, a $4.5 trillion bailout. Congress approved the deal without any meaningful debate. This means Congress and the Federal Reserve have forced taxpayers to absorb these losses on asset by Wall Street's banks. It was never about you and I. It's about the Wall Street banks. The BlackRock plan calls for blurring the lines between the government's fiscal policy and central bank monetary policy. Exactly what the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve are doing today in the United States. BlackRock has now been hired by the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Canada, and Sweden central banks. By the way, each one of these positions at the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Canada, and Sweden central bank, Risk Bank, were former BlackRock employees. Each position, Federal Reserve, Bank of Canada, and Sweden central bank. Former BlackRock employees put in positions, put their action in the plan, get out and get back to BlackRock. And then when new administration comes in, they send some new people over to key positions, like central banks. There it is right here. It even says it right here. 3 of the authors of the BlackRock plan previously worked as central bankers in the United States, Canada, and Switzerland, respectively. This is why I try to explain to people that it's not about Bitcoin and its technology. It's about the monetary policy that it represents. Carl Icahn called BlackRock an extremely dangerous company. Famous world-renowned trader Carl Icahn called BlackRock an extremely dangerous company. The Fed has chosen it to manage its corporate bond bailout programs. 2015, the legendary Wall Street investor Carl Icahn called BlackRock an extremely dangerous company. Icahn was specifically talking about BlackRock's packaging, get this, BlackRock's packaging of junk bonds into exchange-traded funds and calling them high yield, which the average American doesn't understand is a junk-rated bond. The ETF trading during market hours in the New York Stock Exchange, giving them the aura of liquidity when one needs it. Icahn said, I used to laugh with some of these guys. I used to say, you know, the mafia has a better code of ethics than you guys. You know you're selling this crap. Icahn warned that if and when there's a real problem in the economy, there's going to be a rush for the exit like a movie theater, and people want to sell those bonds and think they can sell them. However, there is no market for them. BlackRock not only sells these junk-rated bond ETFs under the brand name iShares, but it has some of the largest investment-grade corporate bond ETFs, including ones that trade under the stock symbol LQD, which was experiencing serious losses, get this, and seeing major outflows of money until the Federal Reserve recently announced that it was creating 3 facilities, that's the DIPs, to buy investment-grade corporate debt from the primary and secondary markets, as well as investment-grade corporate bond ETFs, along with agency corporate-backed securities. Fed Chair Powell had 4 private phone calls with BlackRock CEO since March, as BlackRock manages upwards of $25 million of Powell's personal money, and BlackRock lands not just 1, but 3. No bid. They're the only ones in the game. No bid deals with the Fed. This document labeled Terms of Assignment does not appear to be the full contract between the Fed and BlackRock for purchasing, selling, and managing the Fed's corporate bond portfolios. A much more detailed contract appears on the New York Fed's website for BlackRock's management of the agency's commercial mortgage-backed security facilities. That contract reveals this. The manager is hereby appointed as the FRBNY's Federal Reserve Bank of New York agent, in fact, and it shall have full power and authority to act on behalf of the account with respect to the purchase, sale, exchange, conversion, or other transactions in any all stocks, bonds, and other securities or cash held for investment subject to the agreement. The manager shall initially meet at least weekly with the FRBNY and the other investment managers participating in the FOMC directive to discuss strategy. Right, that's one of the tools that the Federal Reserve uses. Right. Absent agreement from the FRBNY, these meetings should be attended only by individuals at the manager who are behind the ethical wall established by the manager. Oh. Picking a highly conflicted Wall Street firm to manage a taxpayer-subsidized bailout of the highly reckless and irresponsible securitization practices of Wall Street It's nothing new to the Federal Reserve, and it's unlimited money spigot, the New York Fed. The Fed did the same thing during the financial crisis of 2008. Mr. Gensler, the U.S. stock market structure is an institutional wealth transfer system. The U.S. stock market structure is an institutional wealth transfer system. Now, he didn't say that. That's what they are saying. While the overall trust of the proposed changes appears to provide more transparency to order execution, the proposal fails to address key structural issues that have allowed the U.S. stock markets to operate as an institutionalized wealth transfer system, moving vast sums of money from the pockets of average Americans to the richest 1%. People will always want to talk about these traditional financial products, not realizing that Bitcoin and the monetary policy behind it is the only way, to not be a victim in a financial system. Again, the monetary policy that it has. Not talking about the technology, not talking about the asset, talking about the monetary policy that it brings. Flash Boys revealed on this. This is very, very interesting, and I want to cover this. Both, let's see, okay, there's both Congress and the SEC were put on notice in March of 2014 that the United States stock market is rigged. That's the date that best-selling author and Wall Street veteran Michael Lewis was interviewed on 60 Minutes about the allegation in his just-released book, Flash Boys, A Wall Street Revolt. The interview opens with Steve Kroft asking Lewis what the headline is for his new book. Lewis responds, "The United States stock market, the most iconic market in global capitalism, is rigged." When asked to explain just who it is that's rigging the stock market, Lewis states that it's a combination of these stock exchanges, the big Wall Street banks, and high-frequency traders. Flash Boys revealed in great detail how the U.S. stock exchanges are selling access to trading data that the general public does not have access to by allowing high-frequency trading firms and Wall Street mega banks and their brokerage firms to co-locate their trading computers alongside the computers of the stock exchange. These co-location computer services can cost tens of thousands of dollars a month, pricing out everybody but the billionaire hedge fund owners and the big players on Wall Street. In turn, it provides just these privileged players with the earliest access to trading data, thus delivering an unlevel playing field. There's something that I wanted to share. Maybe it's in this Medium article. Let me see. Yeah, it is here. So this is the title. Of the Medium article. February 2022, BlackRock is secretly taking over the world and what Joe Rogan has to do with all of it. BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, and State Street are the four horsemen of the global economy. They own the world. Anytime you act economically, you're transacting with BlackRock. Anytime you do any of these things, you're paying BlackRock money because, along with Vanguard, they own the largest stakes in top global companies. And when you add in the third largest global owner, State Street, their combined ownership encompasses nearly 90% of all S&P companies. BlackRock is so powerful that they are infamously considered the fourth branch of government. BlackRock versus Joe Rogan. If you didn't believe that BlackRock tied into almost every facet of your life, you'd be dead wrong. 2 weeks ago, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, who's often called the most powerful man in the world, made an announcement that he will start punishing companies. That was his words. If they are not woke enough. Seriously, he used the word woke. 2 days later, Neil Young threatens to remove his music from Spotify. There's only one problem. Young doesn't own his music. Reprise Records owns it, and they are owned by Warner Media. And of course, they are all on board with removing it. Who owns Music Warner? Who owns Warner Media? BlackRock. I'll say that again. Who owns our music? Warner Media. Who owns Warner Media? BlackRock. BlackRock owns everything. Dozens of BlackRock employees have held positions in the Bush, the Obama, and the Joe Biden administration. BlackRock is nonpartisan. They only care about money. Do you remember when the housing market suddenly skyrocketed in price last year? Yep, that was BlackRock too. BlackRock bought up thousands of tracts of residential housing, paying 20 to 50% above the asking price. They destroyed the American dream for many middle class Americans. I'm going to end with this little quote here because I really do think that is apropos. The problem isn't that Johnny can't read. The problem isn't even that Johnny can't think. The problem is that Johnny doesn't know what thinking is. He confuses it with feeling. That's why I get those maxi camps. That's why you get emotional about Celsius and Voyager, because people just understand what the real fight is, where the real fight is. And the real fight is what Bitcoin brought that created an asset class was the ability and freedom for you and I to choose our own money, spend our own money, and store our own money. Those concepts of a fixed monetary supply, things like that, separates and gives us the opportunity to walk away from the traditional financial system and their liquidity pool. Where it only works, that system only works for the top 1% of 1%. That's what it brings. And you get content creators talking about technology and the Lightning Network and then completely missing the bigger picture. That's what's important, the bigger picture. And so we need to fight for ecosystems that provide the opportunity for you and I to say what's valuable, not for them to say what's valuable. For you and I, the average Joe and the average Jane, trying to win in a system that has been rigged for decades against us. That's the real fight. So that's where it is. That is the real fight. It's cool to want to own assets that have real utility. That is awesome. What are you doing when you cash out? Where are you going when you cash out? Are you going right back in to the traditional system that is rigged against you? something to ponder and something to think about. All right, guys, listen, this wraps up your XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes. I hope it has been of value to you. If it has, do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you enjoyed the hangout, please consider subscribing to the channel so that we can break the shadow band that is on this channel. Let's work together to break that shadow band. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this video like I do all of my videos and remind you guys of this, that old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel, trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought. And victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.